Hi, I'm Joe.
I'm Gab,
This is Pituga.
and today we will show you how to play
Bang!
the dice game.
This is a dice game with hidden rolls for 3 to 8 players.
The components of the game are
8 roll cards,
16 character cards,
9 arrow tokens,
a pile of bullet tokens,
5 dice,
6 reference cards,
and a rule book. For this game, we will use the help of Snake, Chick, Luca, Homer, and Phoenix. To set up the game, first check the rulebook to see which roll cards we will be using depending on the number of players. We will set up a 5-player game, so we will need the sheriff, 1 deputy, 2 outlaws, and 1 renegade. You can put the rest of the roll cards back on the box. Shuffle the roll cards and deal 1 to every player. Everyone secretly see their card and only the sheriff is revealed.
Shuffle the character cards and deal 1 to every player. All players read their character ability printed on the bottom. Each ability is unique. The character cards also have a number next to a bullet. These are the life points. Every player takes as many bullets as shown on their character card. The sheriff always takes 2 more bullets as shown on his roll card. Put the rest of the bullets and the 9 arrow tokens on the middle of the table, and if anyone needs, give them a reference card.
The objective of the game depends on your role. There are 4 roles: sheriff, deputy, outlaw, and renegade.
The sheriff and deputies work as a team. They win if they eliminate all the outlaws and renegades. The outlaws also play as a team. They win if the sheriff is eliminated and there is more than 1 player still alive.
The renegades play alone. If the sheriff is eliminated and the renegade is the last one standing, he wins. This means that the renegade has to make sure that he and the sheriff are the last players alive and then eliminate him.
The game is played in turns in clockwise order. The sheriff is always the first player.
On your turn, you roll the 5 dice. If you like your roll, you can keep it. But if you don't, you can choose some or all of your dice and reroll them. You can reroll up to 2 times. But if it's already your third roll, you must keep it.
When you are satisfied with your roll or you are out of rerolls, you resolve the effect of the dice in the order you want. Then your turn is over and it's the next player's turn. So, since the game is all about rolling the dice, what do they do? To explain the dice, we will be playing as a snake. The first die is the bullseye 1. With this, the player sitting next to you on your left or your right loses 1 life point. Think of it as the bullseye representing a shot and the number representing how far you will shoot. So, with this die, you could shoot Phoenix and he will lose a life point, or Luca and she will lose life. If you have more, you can assign them however you like. First, they are all assigned and then resolved at the same time. In this case, if you have 2, you could split them and shoot them both. Or you could use both dice with Luca and shoot her twice, or do the same with Phoenix. When someone runs out of life points, they are eliminated and their role is revealed, so everyone else knows who they were. Also, when someone is eliminated, you no longer count their place. So since Phoenix is out, now Chic is considered to be next to you. In a future turn, you could shoot her or Luca with this die. Now it's time to explain the bullseye 2. This works exactly like the bullseye 1, but you have to target a player that is exactly 2 spaces away from you. For example, in this case, you can shoot either Chic and she loses a life point, or Homer and he loses a life point. When someone is out of the game, you no longer count their space. So in this case, you can only shoot Homer, because he's the only one that is 2 spaces away from you. When there's only 3 players left, the 2s and the 1s are the same, so you can shoot anyone. The beer. You can give it to any player and they gain 1 life point. You can also use it on yourself to gain a life. If you have more than one, you can use them all on one player. Just remember that your maximum life points are indicated on your character card. You can never have more than those, unless you are the sheriff who always has a maximum of 2 more. You can also share with 1 or more players. For every beer anyone gets, they gain a life point. You could even give it all away if you want to. If a player who already has their maximum life points gets a beer, it has no effect.
The arrow. This is the only side that gets resolved immediately. For each arrow you roll, you have to get an arrow token from the center of the table. You can re-roll the dice, but for every arrow you get, you have to take an arrow token. When someone takes the last arrow, the Indians attack. At this moment, all players lose as many life points as arrow tokens they have, and they return the arrow tokens to the middle of the table. Yes, you can die for an Indian's attack. After the Indian's attack, the active player continues his turn normally. By the way, if a player is eliminated and he had any arrow tokens, he returns them to the middle of the table.
The Gatling gun. 1 is useless, 2 are useless, but if you have 3 or more, you shoot every other player in the table once, so they all lose 1 life point, and you discard all of your arrows and put them back in the middle of the table.
The dynamite. When you get a dynamite, you can't roll it again, but you can re-roll the rest of your dice normally. However, if at any point you get 3 or more dynamites, explosion happens. You can no longer re-roll your dice, and you lose a life point immediately. If after this you're still alive, you resolve the rest of your dice. So be aware, even if you roll beer, if an explosion happens and you have only 1 life point, the explosion happens first and you are immediately out of the game.
So the game continues until one of 2 things happen. All the outlaws and renegades are eliminated, in which case the sheriff and deputies win, or if the sheriff is eliminated, in which case if the renegade is the only player standing, he wins, otherwise the outlaws win.
Now that you know the dice and the rules, you are ready to play. We will show you an example of gameplay.
To give you an example of gameplay, let's say that this game has been going for a few rounds, and is now Snake's turn. This is his first roll. The arrow is resolved immediately, so he takes an arrow token. He likes 3 of his dice. He keeps them and re-rolls the other 2. He likes his second roll, so he decides to keep it and resolve it. First, he uses the 2 beers on himself and gains 2 life points. His character's maximum is 9, but since he is the sheriff, his maximum is 11. Then, he has to assign his 3 bullseyes. He can hit Chick and Homer, and actually with this roll, he could eliminate both of them. But he suspects that Homer might be on his team, and that Chick is one of the bad guys. So he decides to use the 3 dice on Chick, and she's eliminated. She put back the arrow token, and her roll is revealed.
Now is Phoenix's turn. This is his first roll. He likes these 2 dice, so he keeps them and re-rolls the rest. Now, he got 2 Gatling guns, and since he already has 3 arrows, he decides to try and get rid of them by getting the last Gatling gun. So, he keeps the 2 Gatling guns and re-rolls the other 3 dice. This is his third roll, so he must keep it. The arrow is resolved immediately, so he takes an arrow token. Then, he could use the Gatling gun, but that will eliminate Homer, and he doesn't want that. So first, he gives the beer to Homer, so he gains a life point. And then he uses the Gatling gun. Everyone else loses 1 life point and he discards all of his arrows.
Chick has already been eliminated, so now it's Homer's turn. He got 3 arrows on his first roll. He takes them, and he doesn't want to risk getting more arrows or dynamite, so he keeps this roll. He hits Phoenix with the bullseye, and his turn ends.
Now it's Luca's turn. She gets an arrow on her first roll. She takes it. The dynamite cannot be rerolled. She keeps the beer and rerolls the rest of the dice. She got 2 arrows. She takes the last arrow token and the Indians attack. She loses 3 life points, Snake loses 2, and Homer loses his last one. He is eliminated and reveals his role. Now, Luca resumes her turn and takes the other arrow token. She got another dynamite which cannot be rerolled. She has only 1 life point, and she knows that if she rerolls and gets a dynamite, she will be eliminated, but she takes the risk and rerolls, hoping to get more beer. And she does get more beer, but also a third dynamite. So there is an explosion and she loses her last life point. She is eliminated and reveals her role. So that's how it works. That's pretty much everything you need to know. Now some tips.
Well, first a clarification, because there is something that always seems to be confusing for first-time players,
Oh yeah.
and that's the bullseye 2. Because, well, you can shoot a person that is 2 spaces away from you, but it's just 1 shot per die. Everyone always thinks it's 2 shots because, well, it's printed right here, but no, this is just the distance. So yeah, it can be confusing, but the die is always 1 shot. 1 die, 1 shot. Unless, of course,
There is a character that let you do more damage. We didn't get through all the characters' abilities because they are printed in the cards and they're really clear. And there are always examples in the rulebook.
yeah, here are all of them. So if you have a doubt,
You can read it from here.
yeah. And now some tips. Well, the tips depend pretty much
On your role.
Yeah, on the role you have. So
First.
if you are the sheriff, well, if you are not sure who is who, then you want to try to spread the damage so that you don't end up killing one of your deputies.
Yes.
Unless you are really sure of a bad guy, then you start attacking them.
If you are a deputy, your primary goal is to keep the sheriff alive. So you're only going to try to attack the players who shot the sheriff and try to keep him healthy. Because if he dies, you all lose. But if he is alive at the end of the game, you all win as a team.
Yeah, even if the deputies die,
Yeah.
as
you
long
still
as the
win.
sheriff wins,
If the sheriff is
you
the
win.
last one standing, you win with him.
if you are the outlaw, you can try to fool the sheriff. I mean, you can give him beers and try to attack other players. So
I'm your friend, sheriff.
yeah, so you earn his trust. But you need to kill him.
Yes.
So as soon as you get a good roll and you can attack him a lot,
Something like this.
attack him. And as soon as this happens, your teammates should follow suit.
And finally, the renegade. This is the trickiest role because you have to keep the things in the balance.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't want one side overpowering the other. So if you see that a deputy dies, then you want an outlaw to die so that it's 1-1, it's balanced. And you want to help the sheriff.
Yeah,
because
if you see the sheriff in trouble, you help him. You can give him a beer or something to keep him alive. You remember that you have to get 1-1 with the sheriff at the end.
Yeah, I mean, if that doesn't happen, if for some reason the sheriff dies before, the outlaws win. There are cases even if all the outlaws have been eliminated, they can still win.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but it's hilarious when it happens. And that's Bang the Dice Game. We also have an express video in Spanish, so if you don't speak English and have no idea what we just said, or if you just want to get a laugh seeing us talking really fast in Spanish, check it out.
Thank you for watching. If you like it, hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see what we're going to do next.
Until next time,
I'm Joe.
I'm Gab.
This is Pituca.
See you in the next video.